Looks like I have an audience over here. My dogs are just staring at me, and one of them just ran off. So I don't know what's going on. But what's going on, Go Nation? I'm back with another video. Y'all feel me? And today I'm gonna be reacting to the Cosmic Wonder Spider-Man 4 Sony Marvel feud update. Good and bad news. Sony, stop. Leave it alone. Let Marvel do what they gotta do with Spider-Man, please. Obviously, what they got going is good. Leave it alone. Please, I beg of you. Do y'all other universe stuff. Do y'all own Spider-Man, bruh? Let's leave Tom alone. Leave him alone. It's okay. It's fine. Get out of here. Don't come back. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm acting like somebody's at my front door. Bro, somebody trying to break in at my front door. Bro, what am I talking about? Anyways, honestly, I don't know what any of this news is about, but let's go ahead and jump into this. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because we're on the road to 1,000 subs. Let's see what Cosmic talking about.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren, and
go,
it seems
Cosmic.
like right now, Sony is a little bit frantic. They had a whole franchise riding on the success of Madam Web, which it did not have at all.
My God.
And to top it all off, you now
This
have
movie.
the cast basically stating that the movie was bad.
Without
Some
them
even
staring
joked
at me, bro.
about
Like,
not
me alone.
actually being
Both
in
of
the
them are in
movie.
here.
And the main actress, Madam Web herself,
here,
Dakota
Elise.
Johnson, has been
Come here.
basically going around
Come here.
stating that she knows it's a
Ooh.
bad movie. However, this lack of success for Madam Web could
Hey.
lead to great success for
Come on, watch
Spider-Man,
this.
specifically
Pay attention.
more than one Spider-Man, both in the MCU and in the Sony Spider-Verse. Now,
See
it's
that?
good news
It's a
and
bad movie,
also
Madam
a little
Web.
bit of bad news, but fortunately today, this report has more good news than it does bad. And we are talking about
Okay, I think he wants to
Sony's
get down. Never mind.
interference with the MCU's Spider-Man 4 starring Tom
There you go.
Holland. If you haven't heard the recent news that has come out over the past few weeks, Kevin Feige had one plan in mind for Spider-Man 4, and then Sony came in and said, no,
Nah.
we want this. Well,
I'ma
apparently
do my
there
own
is
thing.
somewhat of a middle ground
They
that
tripping.
Sony and Marvel Studios have reached so far. So we'll break that down in this video. Plus, Dakota Johnson recently opened up in an interview about what kind of went down at Sony with Madam Web and why it turned out the way it did. Now, Sony actually thought that
Woo.
Madam Web was going to be a pretty big success and they were going to be able to create a franchise
way.
off of Madam Web. Of course, that is not what happened. This set Sony back and kind of changed their thinking. Like I said, they had a whole franchise relying on the success of this movie, and it was really their
I don't know
whole
why.
live-action Spider-Verse adjacent universe that was relying on the success of this movie, not just future Madam Web projects. But that just didn't happen.
can you
So
have
now
a Spider-Man
they're looking at
universe without Spider-Man?
the one true success that they have, but he's over in the MCU right now. As far as live action is concerned, Spider-Man is really the only great thing that Sony has going for them right now. They do have Venom, of course, but Venom 3 is going to be their last
Yeah, that's
Venom
true.
movie. And of course, they have the animated Spider-Verse franchise.
Yeah.
But as far as what they had planned on making the money in the comic book space, they're reverting back to Spider-Man, which is why we've gotten a lot of reports recently about Sony messing with the direction for Spider-Man 4. According to multiple different insiders at this point, Sony wants Spider-Man 4 to be a big multiversal film, bigger than Spider-Man No Way Home. Whereas
No.
Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, despite being in the multiversal
Now my
saga,
dog is
want
barking, bro.
Spider-Man 4 to be a more grounded film. And this is what most people thought Spider-Man 4 was going to be anyways, because they set this up in Spider-Man No Way Home at the end. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is anymore. He's on
That's
his
good.
own.
I
He's
like
in
that.
a crappy New York City apartment listening to the police scanner like a classic Spider-Man does. So the next
Yes.
film that we were supposed to get in Spider-Man 4 was supposed to be about Spider-Man fighting street level villains. Kingpin is supposed to be the mayor of New York City. He has
Yes,
made being
bro.
a vigilante illegal.
Sony.
And for those vigilantes who refuse to abide by his law, he sends his own lackeys after them. This results in him teaming up with possibly Daredevil and rumored Ant-Man. And the reason I'm recapping this is because it is still very relevant and important to the new reports today. In a recent report, reliable insider Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus stated Sony and Kevin Feige Feige are currently negotiating a middle ground that would let Spider-Man 4 have both a street level and multiverse element to its story. So essentially, the two different
be a messy
studios,
film at that
Sony
point,
and
man.
Marvel Studios, are working out a compromise. They're going to meet in the middle, and it's okay that Spider-Man 4 is going to have a multiversal element to it because Spider-Man 3 No Way Home had the same thing. Plus, we are in the multiverse saga and we are going into Avengers Secret Wars. So it's not going to be out of place. It's going to fit in line with
Hope
what
it
the
doesn't.
MCU is doing right now. The bad part is Sony is essentially kind of making Marvel Studios do something, which of course we've talked about in the past. I've ranted about it. I won't do it again. So as of right now,
I'm
Spider-Man
ready to
4
rant.
is shaping up to be a street level film, but also a multiverse film at the same time. Now, I would assume that most of the movie would be somewhat of the street level action. They do the story with Kingpin, maybe have Ant-Man and Daredevil show up, and this kind of works out because Kingpin shouldn't be the big bad Spider-Man boss right now. They should build him up even bigger for
Yes.
further movies.
He's
And then
Spider-Man Endgame.
ultimately, they can have the multiverse aspect come in towards the end and perhaps have a Kang variant or some Spider-Man multiversal villain coming from another universe pop in and be the main villain. Maybe the other two Spider-Man pop in again, which is probably what Sony wants, and they take down some multiversal villains again together. The only problem with this is it's exactly what we saw in No Way Home.
Literally.
So what they'll really have to do is differentiate the two films, basically stating, hey, it's not our universe that's in jeopardy, it's the entire multiverse. Every single universe out there is about to be destroyed. And if it's a Kang variant, they could think that defeating him is the way. Then after they possibly defeat him or lose, they realize, oh wait, it's not just him, it's a lot of variants. Of course, we have no way of knowing what they're actually going to do, but it will have to be something along these lines to fit into the overall Secret Wars story. And like I said, the lack of success, really the failure of Madam Web, kind of is somewhat of a good thing for Sony because they want to focus on Spider-Man now, which means we'll most likely get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back more than we would have before. In fact,
I
Alice
beg
Perez
of you,
states that
Sony.
Andrew Garfield's story is
Please.
100% coming, but it's unlikely to be in the form of a solo movie. So prepare for more Andrew Garfield. We heard yesterday that Hugh Jackman wanted to interact with Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire, and these were some of his conditions to be in Secret Wars, which we knew Tobey was going to return. So again, with the failure of Madam Web, Sony wants to focus on things that make the money, and Spider-Man has made the money. Spider-Man No Way Home really made them the most money ever with
Big
Spider-Man.
bucks.
So they're trying to double down on that. So that basically means that the potential for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to show up even more in both the MCU and the Sony live-action Spider-Verse pretty much just skyrocketed. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that is both a good and a bad thing. It's good if Marvel Studios has control over a decent amount of what is being produced, because Sony seems to be so disconnected from what the fans want that Dakota Johnson, Madam Web, has even gone on interviews and stated that fact. Check out what she
Wow.
said in a recent interview with Bustle. She said, "It's so hard to get movies made, and in these big movies that get made, and it's even starting to happen with the little ones, which is what's really freaking me out, decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committee. Films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe that they're not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out the bull. Even if films start to be made with AI, humans aren't going to effing want to see those." And she would then
Facts.
go on to say, "But it was a real learning experience, and of course it's not nice to be a part of something that's ripped to shreds." And she also said that the final product was nothing like what she was pitched and originally read. So Sony came in and basically
meddled
messed
with
up
it, man.
everything. And according to Dakota Johnson, it's because they think they know more than the fans. Well, I'm sorry, but the fans are who watch your movies, and if they like the films, go watch them repeatedly. And if they don't, and they feel like they were being conned by what we saw in the trailer, which that totally was the case, then we're gonna go and tell other people everywhere, on the internet, in person, and they're not gonna go watch your movie and other movies being made. So Sony clearly has a very big disconnect right now with what Marvel fans want. So hopefully, when they put more Spider-Man out there, whether it's just Spider-Man 4 or they bring back Andrew Garfield for possibly a solo movie in the future, Tobey Maguire's rumored to have a Spider-Man 4 coming out with Sam Raimi, whatever it may be, hopefully they listen to Kevin Feige, because they've even stated on some of their Spider-Man projects that they do consult with Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios, and they should. But they should really listen to him, and they should really listen to the fans. If they do those two things, then perhaps there's a great future ahead. But as of right now, it's really not looking so bright for them. Maybe they'll learn from Madam Web, but hey, maybe they won't. But go ahead and let me know all of your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. What would you like to see from Spider-Man 4? If it's both multiverse and street level, how do you think it'll play out?
Alright, so like I said multiple times in this video, Sony, leave Spider-Man alone. Okay? Anyways, yo, that was a great video by Cosmic, yeah, feel me? I really don't want to see Spider-Man and any type of multiverse stuff, at least for the first 2 movies. I'm good. You know, I know we're in the multiverse saga, but I mean, I don't want to see him in a multiverse movie other than like King Dynasty or Secret Wars. Other than that, that's really it for me, man. Like, you can have like a little tease at the end of the movie, but not like a whole multiverse type movie. Not doing the same thing that you did as the last movie. I don't like that. So guys, tell me in the comments below. Y'all want a multiverse movie? Y'all want a more grounded movie, bro? Put it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment too. You already know what to do. Go Nation. I'm out.
Speed off, swerving. I'm not a regular person. I found a diamond, she perfect. Plus I do not gotta buy her a Birkin.